So it is March 3rd, lesson 123. I thank my Father for his gifts to me. So it says that we sing the song of thankfulness today in honor of the self that God has willed to be our true identity in him. So, as we have unveiled much of this invented sense of self, right, now we are allowing truth to reveal itself spontaneously, right, through us. Because we are meeting the world halfway, right? We're meeting reality halfway. And by doing that, reality experiences us, right? So we're not just only experiencing reality, we are now allowing ourselves to be an affect in the world. And it's what Eckhart Tolle says in A New Earth, that nature has been waiting for you for millions of years. Okay. So it mentions that we give thanks in our solitude, right? When we're alone, a friend that has come to speak the saving word of God to us. And thanks to you for listening to him, right? His word is soundless if it not be heard, and thanking him, the thanks are yours as well. An unheard message will not save the world, however mighty be the voice that speaks, however loving may the message be. So we have to be able to get quiet with ourselves, okay? And, most oftentimes when we're doing a lot of ego work, we have to take a break, right? And allow ourselves to be quiet, because when we are doing so much ego work, we make it real again, okay? And what it allows us to do is be grateful for the present moment, because that is what is connecting through the portal of this vessel, if you want to call it that, and mostly through our love. So when we're hitting up higher vibrations, let's just say that the scale goes from 0 to 1,000 in terms of enlightenment. Okay, like pure, like Atman, Christ, Buddha, nature, enlightenments at 1,000, right? There's only few individuals that have done that: Christ, Krishna, Siddhartha, Zarathustra, right? And I like to think about this very similar to jiu-jitsu, right? Because what I learned today was that there's only 5 10-degree black belts, which are red belts. So there's a belt above black belt, and there's calibrations in terms of the energy emanation of the frequency, right? So it can be measured by the amount of energy that they're emanating as an essence within their central nervous system. So their central nervous system can contain more energy, and it's because of the ability to handle it, right? They can handle that much more love within themselves than most people would be able to, right? That's why it's so painful sometimes when we have these tears of joy, these joyful sorrows, because it's an overwhelming self-fulfillment, right? It's so much joy that it swells up, and it feels like it's painful, but it's also joyful, because that's what it is, right? So sometimes we push ourselves in some way, somehow, and when we take a look at how this works for us, we are also taking consideration that it's not my will, but thy will. So we're being grateful, right? And what I learned in terms of vibrations, so let's just say from 0 to 1,000 is enlightenment, and love is at 500, okay? So it's kind of halfway across the mark. And then above that is gratitude, so it's at 510. And then at 540, we have unconditional love, joy, okay? once we start hitting 600, right, it's a big monumental leap. We're hitting not just the, another tier, but we're hitting the third tier where we are now self-transcendent, right? This is where we're hitting inner peace, right? So peace is the beginning of enlightenment. So what I learned from research, reading David Hawkins, is that people reach unconditional love, they reach joy, and that means there are about 28 million people that reach it, right? And that should be our goal, right? We should aim for the highest, shoot for the moon, land in the stars kind of thing. Okay, so the stars are basically unconditional love, which means that everything is supposed to be the way it's supposed to be, right? It's the closest thing that we can get to enlightenment in this lifetime without being enlightened. Now, when we're hitting peace, we basically have become masters, if you want to call it that, right? We have gone through the final doorway. We have gone through the loneliest mile. We have basically surrendered our life to the will of God, okay? And that's the only way that you can make it through that. So joy, is the step right before ecstasy, and ecstasy is the step right before peace. So peace is just as intense as ecstasy, but it's not as debilitating, right? Because now you have integrated yourself with this new understanding of life. Okay, so you can handle the tension, if you want to call it that, or like the amount of energy that you are going through. And basically, that's what we're trying to understand, right? So once we hit peace, that's basically like getting your black belt, right? And the individuals that make it through 700 all the way up to 1,000, they start to kind of filter out, right? Those are your red belts, if you want to call it that. So there are about 700 individuals that make it to like eternal, internal, inner peace, okay? And that's just basically like as big as your high school graduating class, right? You have graduated with this class of individuals in this learning stage of the world, right? For this dimension or whatever you want to call it, this lifetime, right? So that's a graduating class. And taking that consideration, right? What allows you to push to that is gratitude, right? Gratitude allows you to have these moments of joy, of unconditional love, okay? That allows you to be present, okay? So once you are aiming for something beyond your love and allowing yourself to be grateful, that's when you are allowing the universe to take care of you, right? Coddle you, you can't be hurt, you can't die, kind of thing. And you appreciate the moments that you're learning, right? It's kind of like you appreciate that moment that you go to your practice, right? It could be sports, right? And like all you're doing is just being that present in that moment, and everything else disappears. So that's basically the same thing that we're trying to do when it comes to being here in this lifetime, where we are being grateful for the opportunity that we have to learn as we are mastering ourselves. And that's all that means. Thought I'd share that. Hell yeah.